All right, everyone. Welcome back to the eCoreAcademy organization. If you're viewing this through the YouTube channel, and if you're viewing this through the YouTube video, thank you for watching. As well as if you're viewing this through the eCoreAcademy.org website, and you've made an account and you're viewing this video here, thank you for watching as well as viewing this through any of our social media platforms. So today's lesson, we're going to be getting into the glands of the skin, and it's all about identifying the different glands of the skin and their unique purposes. I apologize. And it's of course by me, AJay Raj, and of course you're viewing this through the eCoreAcademy platforms, and it's all underneath the course and topic of anatomy and physiology under science. So let's get into the lesson. So the first major gland that we have here of the major three glands is the sebaceous glands. So sebaceous glands, what they do is they secrete sebum, which is an oily substance which lubricates hair and skin. So as I mentioned in my previous video, which was about the different types of skin, and specifically of the epidermis, I had talked about sebaceous and pseudoauriferous glands, which are two of the major glands of the skin itself. So sebaceous glands here, as I mentioned before, they have to do with hair and, of course, skin as well as nails. And basically what it does is it secretes sebum. That's what sebaceous glands do, which is an oily substance which lubricates hair and skin. And basically what that means is that it lubricates hair and skin, which means it helps protect and net up the pores in which the hair endings that actually open up into, because the hair follicles are actually in the dermis, but when they reach the skin, you have pores in your skin. And what sebaceous glands do is they actually prove to be as an immunizing component. They help with your immune system and keeping out bad bacteria. So what it does is it basically nets up your pores, since there's so many hairs that breach through those pores, and it helps lubricates your skin and entails it to not necessarily an instant waterproof, but it can keep out fluids after first contact, but it will absorb it when necessary. And sebaceous glands are present everywhere except for areas with thick skin. So thick skin is basically skin that does not have hair on it, and which includes the palms of the hands and soles of the feet. Sebaceous glands are located in the dermis layer and are generally connected to hair follicles, except for in hairless areas such as the eyelids. So basically, what that means is, I apologize. So basically, what that means is it's saying that sebaceous glands are located in the dermis layer, which is below the epidermis, but the sebum itself actually seeps into the dermis and coats the exterior of the epidermis. So although it's the root where the glands is located in the dermis, it releases outwards into the epidermis, and it's generally connected to hair follicles, which makes sense because it has to do with lubricating hair, and also stimulizes hair growth where the hair follicle is in the dermis. And it's located there except for in hairless areas such as the eyelids. However, eyelids are not thick skin, they are thin skin. So that's an exception. And so this is a little picture here. This is a hair follicle. The most important thing to know is the general location of it. And since it's sebaceous glands and sebum is meant to lubricate hair and skin, it has to do with the hair follicle. So as you can see here, it's nearly attached to the hair follicle, which is below this white line here, which is the epidermis, and it's in the dermis. So on to the next major gland, we have the pseudoauriferous glands. And pseudoauriferous glands, they typically secrete sweat. So as we know now, sweat is not necessarily just a coolant for the body, but it's also to secrete the waste materials up in the skin. So as the skin has many of its functioning factors, a lot of times chemicals that are unwanted are produced, and they have to be seeped out through the skin. So that also helps with the quality of skin. When those items are trapped within the skin, you can often deteriorate your skin linings and many of the immunizing effects that the skin has. So same thing with taking a shower. If you take a shower too many times, you're actually going to remove that same layer. But also, if you're not sweating enough, or you're not secreting enough, as here pseudoauriferous glands secrete sweat, you're actually not relieving yourself of those waste items. And pseudoauriferous glands are found anywhere on the body without thick skin, so it's only in thin skin. And there are two types of pseudoriferous glands, and they're apocrine and ecrine. Ecrine, sorry. And yes, I just like to point out here that they're found anywhere on the body without thick skin. So that doesn't include your palmar surfaces, so your palms of your digits, all 10 fingers and 10 toes, and then your soles of your feet. And as you can see here, this is just a microscopic view. It's actually very simple and very similar to the look of the sebaceous glands. And it does have a bit of an immunizing effect in the fact that it helps relieve the skin lining of toxic chemicals that can later on cause some minor damage, but not major damage. And then finally, we have our apocrine glands. And apocrine glands are a specific type of pseudoriferous glands. And also, ecrine glands were mentioned. I did not include that because it's not necessarily included in the body throughout the entire lifespan of a human being, but it's actually present during a child, a baby that is recently born. So basically, you can say a toddler in the first 8 months, they don't have apocrine glands, but they have ecrine glands. So those are sweat glands, but they have more of sulfuric chloride infused in that process of secreting sweat. So it's not fully matured apocrine glands, but they are ecrine glands, which are a common type of pseudoriferous glands found in babies. It's not that they don't have apocrine glands, but they have a larger amount of ecrine glands as a child, as you lose your ecrine glands when you grow up later on. And finally, our apocrine glands. Apocrine glands develop during puberty. These glands are located in the ear canal, around the eyes and nose, under the arms, on the areola of the breasts, and in the pubic regions. So what that means is that these glands are located in the ear canal, which is basically the ear here, around the eyes and nose, and of course under your arms, on the areola of breast. And that's actually extremely important because it has to do with the lactation process in which the mother gives milk to the infant. It has to do with sensation and stimulation of the production of milk inside the breasts, and it also helps trigger the mammary glands, which are basically what produce milk inside the breasts. And it's very important for toddlers. So apocrine glands are extremely important for toddlers, not because of a direct relation, but because they stimulate ecrine glands, which are found in the breast and help with lactation as well. So so whenever you think of toddlers and milk production, it's more of an ecrine gland's job to do that, as apocrine glands help stimulate that. And they're found in the pubic regions, and mammary glands are one type of modified apocrine gland. Earwax or cerumen is secreted by ceruminous glands, the other type of modified apocrine gland. So there are many different types of apocrine gland, which is on a very, very high level to understand. But apocrine glands in general, they basically are centered around the basis of sweat and stimulating other glands around them. And so the skin has various glands, multitudinous glands, and apocrine glands are very important because they help in stimulating that with the chemicals that they produce. And such as earwax as well. You might not think it's important, but it actually is almost like a self-blockage in the ear that helps keep out any unwanted bacteria, especially when you have a sickness. And the appearance of a cerumen can differ depending on genetic factors. Cerumen is basically what makes up many of the waxes in our body and the coatings as well as the oils. So basically the appearance of it all depends on genetic factors. And typical apocrine glands just secrete sweat, and then different types of sweat with different components mixed in, but very minor differences between them. And apocrine sweat glands, as you can see here, the sweat gland is much larger than the sebaceous glands, and they have basically their own floating area in here, and that's either responding to heat, because they're normally next to tactile receptors, which actually sends heat and difference in change in temperature. So your those receptors signal your sweat glands, and they start to cool your skin when need be. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching this through our eCoreAcademy organization. Please like and subscribe on this YouTube video if you're watching this through YouTube. And please click the post notification bell to get notified on our latest posts. Please visit our website, eCoreAcademy.org, where you get the full unlocked access to all of our videos on our YouTube channel, as well as many of our uh, worksheets and integrated quizzes, as well as notes that go along with each and every single video and are organized into course studies. And if you're, please follow us on all of our social media platforms, which include Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Gmail, and Google Space. And that's all, folks. Thanks for watching. This is AJ here, and I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.